Hello, guys. This is White Wolf, and we're going to be talking about the inner child of creation, how to use our inner child as a way of imagination and creation and changing the rules and just changing the energy and using it to play with our energy and not allow everything else that's energetic to play with us, to have our way with life and not to allow life to have its way with us. So we can allow ourselves to really become the inner child fully realized with imagination, with innocence, with compassion, but also in a sense that you're creating and actually playing with your energy. Rather it's wealth, rather it's tapping into more energies, rather it's looking at your conscious perspective from the childlike wonder of a 12-year-old and allowing it to shine in everything you do and allowing it to represent something to you, but also using it to break the rules, step on a lot of toes, and to really just try to change your life and how you view your life and how you're going about life and not taking life so seriously, but just allowing yourself to kind of enjoy life, have acceptance towards yourself. Have acceptance beyond your own personal biases, and also just allowing yourself to play with your inner child and to remember it and to accept it back into your heart so that you're following your heart's desire and not a misaligned desire or a projection or an action. Because we should be very imaginative when we're creating, and we should have our eye on the bullseye and the vision and allow that vision to become who we are. And if we allow ourselves to do that, it means that the inner child is using us as an instrument of the divine and allowing us to understand how we can be that inner child all the time and to not take ourselves seriously, not to take life seriously, and to really just let go of the burden and the worry and the stress and all the things that we give our power away to, that we're actually aligning to power and actually not choosing to disempower ourselves or suppress something. But when a child sees a toy at the store, they automatically feel like they can have it. Or if they're enjoying themselves, if a child is really enjoying themselves playing in the mud or playing with sticks and stuff like that, you as the parent wouldn't just go over there and try to make them have more fun. You would actually bask in the glory of their innocence and the Shekinah glory of their playing and fun and dreaming and like journaling and drawing and doing all these things like a child. So it's kind of using that and not forgetting who we once were, because it's forgetting our innocence, it's forgetting our playfulness, it's forgetting our intensity, but also not so much intensity that it detracts away from what we want to do. So when we really encompass that inner child, we're using it as a way of being playful with everything that we're trying to do, no matter if it's prosperity, no matter if it's wanting a new relationship, no matter if it's wanting a new job or something like that. But you can't have a linear mindset, because if you have that linear mindset, then you're going to actually always just play it safe and not push yourself past your comfort zone. And you're never going to push the boundaries and see what's actually possible if you never really try, if you never really strive for it. You're never going to find out what's really possible becoming that inner child within yourself and having that beautiful, loving, playful energy. Because when you're laughing, when you're joyful, when you're playful, you just really honor the very fact that you're basking in the glory and the ecstasy of that moment, and you're not trying to take it so seriously. And you're not looking at who's validating you or who's looking at you being so joyful and playful, because it's not something that you just do. It's not something that you do for an hour, but it's something that you just always do. It's just something that miraculously is channeled through you. And when it's miraculously channeled through you, you allow yourself to use the inner child as a way of becoming the vehicle of source, becoming source energy manifested in the human form, because you're just kind of getting over whatever you experienced in your past. So the inner child allows you to deal with the past and also the past lifetimes. Any physical abuse, any verbal abuse, any abuse of any kind, the inner child allows you to heal that. Because when you don't play with the inner child, you're still of the frame of mind of an adult. Now you kind of blend in the mindset of an adult and you kind of blend in with the mindset of like a 6-year-old, if you will. I'm not saying to let go of conventional reality, but you're blending it with the non-physical when you're using the inner child as a way of creation, as a way of projecting, as a way of coming into balance with who you really are. And it helps you balance out those masculine and feminine energies, but also your chakras. So it allows you to hone your will, to find your willpower and to really use your imagination in a way of visualization. But it's not about what you're visualizing, and it's not about the outcome or the details of the said visualization, but it's really, what is it? Does it excite you? Does it make you joyful? Does it represent something that you're supposed to become? And is it that vision that you're wanting to envision, and you're wanting to empower, and you're wanting to generate a source of creation within yourself? So every time that we suppress something, or we're resistant towards it, or if we don't go for it, if we don't feel like it's a possibility, that's not us using our inner child. Because we have to think about it like, if you see that shiny object, it's not just because it's a shiny object. It's not just because it's a Barbie doll, but it's the energy of how the Barbie doll makes you feel. It's the tricycle that makes you feel really good, or the little big wheel that you had when you were a kid. It wasn't necessarily the image, but it was the fact of you getting on it and feeling like you're going to be like Speed Racer and just be like, wee, and like learning how to tie your shoes or something like that. So it's kind of like recapturing the highlights of your own childhood and learning how to experience them now, because a lot of the times what we're doing when we awaken, I noticed that there's a basketball goal here, and sometimes in the driveway I would learn how to just kind of play, learn how to swim, exercise, kind of play with my dog, walk my dog, or literally just play basketball in the driveway, and to kind of remember what I used to do as a kid, because I was giving myself more spiritual muscles to kind of have that relaxation and that peace of figuring out where my inner child went, and realizing that the inner child allows us to do so many different things. Because if you're loving, if you're playful, it's kind of like when you're on the dance floor and you're just kind of dancing and you're in the moment and you're just kind of in the ecstasy of the moment, and you're not worried about people looking at you. When you're really getting down on the dance floor and you're just feeling it, you're not worried about people looking at you. You're in the ecstasy of that moment. So it's kind of like using our imagination to break barriers, to break boundaries, to push through a threshold of lack and unworthiness and suffering and trauma, and being able to accept it here and now, and being able to heal it, and to know that it's actually opening more doors and gateways and portals to allow you to heal and to accept and to have non-judgment within yourself. The inner child does not judge. When we're children, we see everybody as inseparable because we see them as source energy. So we see them as source energy, and we're not judging them, and we're not focused on how they look or whatever background they come from, but we see everybody as inseparable, and we see them as beauty. We see them as creation and energy. So it's like this, Casey asked, do you know how we can help our inner child release the fear of judgment? Is to really just put yourself out there without any fear or hesitation of how anybody else is going to feel, or how even you feel about putting your inner child back out there. That's how we release the fear of judgment, the fear of anxiety, the fear of putting ourselves out there. Because we allow ourselves to just kind of be non-judgmental and accepting towards who we are, and standing in our vibration, and standing in who we are and what we're reflecting as, and how we're allowing ourselves to not be fearful of anything, being courageous in the times where we feel like we're going to be judged or overthink something or not pull the trigger on something. And I wanted to be honest real quick, and I know I'm talking about healing the inner child, but I was in the store the other day, and there was this bottle that was open, and it was full of this Pine Glow, the stuff that you mop your floor with. Well, I grabbed it, and in the moment, I grabbed it and I was going to put it in the cart, but it had the cap off and it sprayed everywhere. And I had a reaction. I was like, what the fuck, in the store? So in a moment, that fear or that trigger or that getting the chemical on the cart or my girlfriend or myself literally awakened something within myself and was offering me reflection of my inner child. Because I was looking for safety and I was looking for something, and I just grabbed it because I was trying to get out of the store, and I don't like the store. was trying to get out of there. And then almost everything that I talk about all the time just kind of went out the window for a moment. I was like, what the fuck, in front of everybody? I was like, what the hell? You know? But that's how Spirit teaches us and keeps us humble and keeps us grounded, and knowing that there's always going to be situations where it's not really like a test, but it's just a mirroring effect. It's a reflection. It's being humble. It's being honest. And that's why I wanted to bring that up to you guys, is that you always are being tested, and you're always going to be caught off guard because they're trying to humble you and trying to make you have more innocence and not to take yourself so seriously, not to take life so seriously, but to learn how to imagine and learn how to create and learn how to be honest. The inner child is honest, always. The inner child never lies to you. The inner child will always reflect to you in such a way that's very prolific and profound, because if you're a kid and you mess something up, you don't take it so seriously. You might cry about it, but it wasn't like some kids, when they mess something up, they don't really take it all that seriously. They kind of like, oh, well, I'll try something else, or they lose their attention span. And sometimes that's how we are as children of the light, as people that are awakening, as people are growing and expanding and coming into this transcendental consciousness. We allow ourselves to look at the emotions, look at the triggers, but also look at where our inner child is trying to reflect to us to make us be more humble and be like, okay, maybe you're going about this situation more like a grown-up, but how can you look at it from like a childlike perspective? But you're blending it with the conscious, the subconscious. That's what you're doing. You're not necessarily blending it with your adult mind and your kid mind, but you're blending the non-physical and the physical together and meshing them together. And it's not taking everything so seriously. And most of the time, I try to have that childlike attitude and that vibrational attitude. But then that split moment when I was at the store and something happened, then it kind of just went out the window. But it doesn't mean that that was necessarily a bad thing, because then you have to look at it as not being good or bad. But you have to look at it as reflection, learning, grace, anointing, and humbling, and knowing that they are not who you are. That everything that we experience and everything that we grow and shift into, that if we can be 90% of the time be in vibrational alignment and have that direct communication to source, the 10% shouldn't like ruin your day, and it shouldn't make you feel like you have to be in a bad mood or you're depressed or you're down. But if you even in that moment have to experience that trigger, rather it's an emotion, rather it's feeling bad, rather it's feeling angry, it doesn't matter. If you feel it in that moment and then you release it, then that means source is working on your behalf. And that's how the inner child gets us to reflect with imagination and creation and really allowness. Allow yourself to be receptive and open and humbled by the very fact that we're all here to grow and transcend the human conditioning and the triggers and the emotions, but also the elevation of energy, and using it as a way of really playing with energy, playing with your consciousness, playing with your energy, playing with prosperity, and seeing everything as it can make manifest, as it can manifest for you, as if it's already being done for you. But because you have that childlike wonder and faith and innocence in the very fact that you can have all the things that you want, rather it's healing, rather it's worthiness, rather it's wanting more out of life, rather it's wanting to be more humble, wanting to be more patient, and be more aware of your triggers and the open bottles of pine glow that kind of come in life and kind of like surprise you and kind of, just makes an arise or a trigger come out of you. And it's being humble, even talking about those situations and kind of looking at all your needs being met, but also looking at all the things that you need to work on and improve on, because it allows you to have self-development, because it allows you to develop who you are here and now, but it allows you to develop from the standpoint of how can I create in a childlike manner? How can I not take life so seriously? But how can I allow the inner child to heal me, to make my heart more pure and my mind more pure, but allow me to have a spiritual body of light. That means you're encompassing more on your spiritual mass. So it allows you to be that breath of fresh air. It allows you to be the exhalation. It allows you to release and open up even more because you're not going about it the way that you've been taught or conditioned or forced. Because we're forced to feel a certain way, or we're forced to see like something on a commercial and we have to look like that person, or that we have to control every single thing and not be at peace and struggle or be forceful with our creation. And that's actually the exact opposite. You know, there's nothing wrong with like grinding, going out there for your development, but when you're doing it from a toxic standpoint, then that leads to toxic seeking. So it leads to toxic seeking. This means that when you're seeking toxically, it means that you are seeking for a reason to try to make yourself feel better when you should be enjoying the research, the learning, and the development within yourself. That allows you to be more humble. And when it doesn't feel in vibrational alignment, then don't do it that day. It's kind of like a painting every single day. You're not a finished product, and yes, you're under construction all the time. So you can't always just harp on yourself and feel like you have to complete every mission on the video game in one day. And then you won't have any missions to play with, right? You won't have any missions to play and the game is over, and then you got to buy a whole nother game. But you got to realize that you're the player within the game. You're the dreamer within the dream. And every time that you're able to manifest within yourself, generate a new state of being within yourself, and always be humble and perceptive, and to know every day is a new beginning, because you're allowing the inner child to use you as a instrument of the divine. So we allow ourselves to see that every little thing that we experience all the time is kind of just molding us like the potter with the clay, and just kind of molding us and orienting us in a way that allows for us to really perceive who we really are. So it's just kind of, okay, I have to change my thinking. I have to change the way that I react to my emotions or my triggers, or the way that I go about daily life. Or if there is a store that I don't particularly like, I need to stop going to that store. It's just being aware of energy and learning how to control it, but also learning how to have clear communication with the person that you used to become, the person that you used to be, that inner child that used to be you, and learn how to become it and to accept it within yourself. I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day, is having acceptance, non-judgment. Don't judge yourself for not being there already. Don't be in such a rush or a hurry or forceful resistance and lead to more like suffering. But just be patient with yourself and know that you're not always a finished product every time that you do something. Every day we're going through the motions, and we're always progressing, not progression. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. It's not flawless, but it is beautiful in every single way. It is beautiful because it's humbling. So we're going to be doing some healing energy, but also I wanted to make an announcement, guys. At 10 p.m. Eastern, I will be going live doing readings, healings, activations for $20. So if you take part in the healings, activation, Akashic Records, let me know in the comment section. Also, thank you guys for sending gifts. I'm aware of you guys, but sometimes when the message starts channeling through me and things of that nature, I have to say what I need to say and do what I need to do. So I wanted to let you guys know, paypal.me, Jacob Dylan Wolf, and Cash App White Wolf, the Oracle as well. So if you guys want to take part of that live, I do have a client before that, and I just contact me on, TikTok and stuff like that, and we can see what we can do for you. So I think today we're going to do a healing meditation instead of healing energy. because my guides just told me to do a healing meditation of the inner child. So if you want to take part in this meditation, just have acceptance and breathe and release, and just allow yourself to ground into the earth. Take a deep breath. And just for a moment, allow ourselves to see our inner childs. Let's see our inner child standing in front of us. Let's relax and be receptive and have acceptance over the inner child or the person that we used to be that we forgot about. And let's allow ourselves to pick up that inner child and place it right into our hearts, but to remember that childlike innocence, to remember how we used to play, how we used to perceive, and how we used to think, and learning how to blend that non-physical and that physical aspect of reality, but also the conscious being blended with the subconscious, so that we can give ourselves that mind, that body, and that spirit complex within ourselves to know that we are the energy that we're seeking. It's always kind of like we're always allowing ourselves to elevate the energy in the perception of that by understanding that we can relax with this imagination, that we can make our own rules, to live in our own inner world, and to really use the inner child as a way of creation, as a way of projecting, as a way of not taking life so seriously, and to know that all of your needs are met, but also balancing those masculine and those feminine energies. And just allow yourself to feel that power of starting afresh, starting anew, as if you were just born. And you just had that ignorance is bliss kind of mentality. That you were kind of ignorant of all the negative stuff in the world, the way that our societies run, or the way that your parents even oriented you, or even your past realities and your past lifetimes and things of that nature, and you were able to transcend them here and now. You were able to just hone in and really tap into your heart, to really just be sincere and to be real, and to just be truthful and honest about who you are. It's kind of like when people are joking around and then you're the person that took it really serious. They got offended in some sort of way and people were just kind of like laughing and joking around, and then you were the one who took it very seriously. And then it's just having more clear, in-depth communication, not only with yourself, but with the people around you, and being able to know that you have an impact with how you live your life, how you talk about things, but also how you go about life. And just because the pine glow that was open, and then you pulled it off the shelf and it spilled everywhere, it doesn't mean that you have to react the way that I did. But if it's needed to react that way, it's okay. We're all not perfect, and that's the whole point of this meditation, is to know that none of us are really perfect. But we are children. We're developing. Our brain is growing. Our spiritual muscles are growing. But we're all the same. We're inseparable. We're all just children just starting over again and learning about all these new things of manifestation, of attraction, of wealth, of living an abundant life. But it all stems from remembering our inner child. It all stems from that because it allows us to be more feminine and masculine at the same time. It allows us to find a fine attunement of balance within ourselves. It gives us strength and stability, but also remembrance that we can look at things in a much different way, that we can actually, if any of you are like 30 or 20 or 50, that you're able to blend that 50-year-old with that 6-year-old. And then that allows you to balance out your adult attributes and your personalities and your emotions and your triggers to kind of be blended in with innocence, imagination, love, and not being judgmental and not having the fear of judgment kind of come up, or being afraid to do something, or being afraid to take a chance on something and not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Because when you were 12 or 13, you would have got on the dirt bike and you would have just ramped off the thing, no question. Now, like when you think of it, now if you're like 30 or 40, that seems kind of irrelevant or dumb. But then you kind of still pick up that courage inside of yourself not to be afraid to try new things. That if you really wanted to go free dive or walk over the hot coals, that you would have that fearlessness inside of yourself because of your inner child. Because you develop that sense of security and faith and courageousness within yourself to kind of relax into yourself. But this allows you to let go of the mind. It allows you to tap into the heart. Allows you to blend the heart and the mind and put them together as that twin heart. This allows you to be very powerful in how you create and how you generate and how you elevate the energy and how you go about life with any aspect of your life. But it allows you to actually feel your emotions as well, not to just be aware of them and receive them in a negative light, but allows you to look at the tension or the triggers or the resistance within yourself. It allows you to mold yourself, to build a strong foundation within yourself, but to not take it so seriously and to not make it about seeking toxically, but seek in a fun way. Seek in a way where it's just kind of being on the teeter-totter and it's just kind of balancing it out, up and down, up and down, up and down. And just think of it as a realization, a way of living, a way of carrying yourself. And it's just getting past all of the suffering, all the things that come up, all the things from our past lifetimes and our past transgressions, and being able to be more present about it and to align to the energy of the future. Just be happy, be free, and be wild, and just don't take life so seriously. Be playful in the way that you want to be playful. And just be humble, be patient, but know when you have to be accelerated. Know when you have to look at this thing But live your life, and even if they come and go, just let them come and go as the reflections do. And just be at peace with it, don't judge it, just allow and receive. And then that's all you have to do to really tap into your inner child. So everybody take one last deep breath. Exhale. And so it is. So that was a meditation accepting the inner child inside of yourself, remembering it, loving it, treating it, taking good care of it, but also allowing yourself to be humble towards it and have acceptance within your heart about it. And when you do that, you allow yourself to push past so many different thresholds within yourself, withholding stuff, being more honest, being more sincere, being more truthful, and things of that nature. So I hope you guys loved the meditation, enjoyed the live. Also, I'll be going live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time zone, reading Sealing's activation codes downloads. I will be on there for like probably 2 or 3 hours. Just let me know if you guys want to take part in that. Also, just comment and just let me know. Also, if you book private sessions, book a time, date, and day, and just follow me on TikTok. You can contact me on Instagram, WhiteWolf4741, Facebook, Jacob Wolf, refer to me as White Wolf, and also YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle, and TikTok, I have my email. I prefer it if you just texted me, because a lot of people text me on my email and they never get back to me. And my leg is asleep. It's fully asleep. So I'm gonna allow my leg to come back to life. But I wanted to thank you guys so much. I want to take some time to give a shout out to my clients. And I just want to thank you guys so much. You guys make the dream work, and also thank you for receiving on the lives when you do. This is White Wolf signing off, and so it is. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later at 10 p.m. Eastern, Friday.